sitting in for Christy Lee. It's Jess Hooker. And then there he is. He's back home. It's comedian Greg Warren. We're watching him on the big screen via Zoom. Hey, Greg, how are you?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good to see you, Greg. How was your weekend in the Cincinnati area?
It was outstanding. You know, I liked it. Used to live there, 5 years.
Yeah. Your old stomping grounds.
Did you go by your old house?
I didn't, man. I was kind of north of town, and I was only in town for about 36 hours, so I didn't really leave the mall, to be honest with you.
Did you eat at the mall?
Yeah, I ate at Cheesecake Factory, Tom.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Because we were talking about food.
You ever eat at the Y, Greg?
All right.
Oh, boy.
You put that in a hot tub.
I don't see it. I actually don't see it with Greg. I don't see it at all with Greg. No.
What?
I don't think you partake in that sexual activity.
Oh, there you go. Your thoughts.
I think that
A little peek behind the curtain here. He will hang up.
could we were discussing the fact
It's
that
been a wild morning, man.
Pat Godwin has gone vegan, much to I guess who for whatever reason he's got some issues of some sort.
You don't have to be mad about it.
He just never stop talking. I'm gonna have to get him I'm a vegan T-shirt.
I'm studying for my blood test next week.
I really hear you talk about it more than he does.
I will agree.
Kind of keep going on.
Pat,
Yes, sir.
you eating a lot of soy?
Yeah, a lot of soy. Yeah.
And what is on the counter in the break room now that we have to put up with? Raw honey and some kind
That's
of...
not
That's
me.
mine.
Some kind of...
Zip it up.
Some kind of mystical... Wait a minute. Is it yours?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
Greg,
But look how young Greg looks.
are you a vegetarian?
No, I was a vegan for a couple of years. It didn't really take.
Back in your salad days.
Didn't stick.
You know what? That's funny.
Yeah, let me tell you something. You got to pass for
That
the
was
rest of the
nicely
year.
done, Tom.
You take a break for a
Sorry,
week.
were you really a vegetarian?
Vegan.
I was vegan, I think.
Because you're so picky.
I can't
I've had
remember.
lunch with you. It's unbelievable.
He's not that picky.
Yeah.
I don't know how this started. I will defend Greg on
did
this.
You started it, chick.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But I will say
You're
this,
right.
He
Wow,
did,
what a bastard.
He did picky up the checkie, which I don't really allow.
Yeah, he's generous.
He's very generous.
Yeah.
Very
Generous.
generous.
Very giving guy.
Makes up for having to be with him.
He's got to pay.
Hey, I'm sure he's also a very generous lover.
As Josh said,
I'm
he will hang up.
uncomfortable with a lot of this talk.
I'm so sorry. Don't hang up the phone. Greg chooses a topic every week, and he does a deep dive, as they say.
Yeah, what is it this week?
What have you got going on over there now, Greg?
Well, I want to talk about the history of the Swiss Army knife.
I love this.
Chick?
Okay.
That's a utility tool. If
I am wrapped with attention.
Well, I started to sort of look at the first pocket knives, and that was back in the early Iron Age, talking like 1200 BC.
Sure, you had to have
the
your pocket
Vikings.
knife. Yeah.
Vikings had them after that. The Romans had them. But when I Googled first pocket knife, an article came up that said, buying your child's first knife.
all right.
And I had to read it. A good general age range for supervised knife use is somewhere between 5 and 7 years old.
Okay.
I literally bought 2 of them this summer.
You did?
Yes.
For
my little girls. They went to this sort of, it's kind of a camp. It's
Sleepaway camp.
all outside, and they learned to properly use a knife. So
Supervised, though, right?
Well, it was supervised, and then we were at dinner, and they wanted to go practice their whittling. And I said, okay, give me 60 seconds to clear the table. And 30 seconds later, there was a scream.
Oh.
I'd like to apologize to my friends, Sarah and Sean. There was a hospital trip involved.
Oh.
But they were able to re-sew the knuckle on. Sorry,
it
back to you.
seems a little young to me.
Yeah.
No, supervised, it's fine.
We got pocket knives.
Yeah, but what? Yeah. Marie, the boy's 8 years old. It's time for him to play with a knife by himself.
That's true. We got pocket knives when we learned how to tie our shoes. That was the reward.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That was sort of a hillbilly community, wasn't it, Jess?
Yes, it was.
No, that was a real big deal.
It was.
I was a Cub Scout and a Boy Scout. Yeah, we had knives. Oh, it was fun. And I had a switch.
Like Greg grew up in
switchblade.
aristocracy.
Switchblade.
A switchblade?
Yeah. Their switchblades are terrible knives. They're not.
That's not true.
No, I mean, for car, you need a proper one if you want to do any whittling or
Street
carving.
gang? Man.
I wish some 70s street gang member would come in right now and hold up a switchblade to Tom's throat and be like, "You think this is a bad knife?"
Hey, Tom. What do you think, Tom, huh?
No,
what do you think?
That's one right there.
How about that one?
It's a bad knife for carving and whittling. And
Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you, those switchblade combs are pretty cool, though.
Aren't they? Man, oh, man.
That's what I've got. Can you see me on the camera? This is a nice one. This is a heavy duty.
Nice.
Look at that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I want one of those.
now, in West Side Story, if Riff and Bernardo had pulled out Swiss Army knives, it really wouldn't have worked. Hang on a second, Bernardo. Before I stab you, I've got to get away. This is a saw. I got to put that one back in. Here are the scissors. I can cut your hair. No.
Now, before we get on with this knife fight, who presses your pants? That is a great crease.
Where'd you get those chinos?
Oh, boy.
That's a good color scheme your gang has on.
Did the Swiss Army actually invent that knife, Greg?
Well, here's what happened, Josh. Back in the 1880s, the Swiss Army moved to the Schmidt-Rubin model of a rifle. They got new rifles.
No Schmidt.
And those rifles, you needed a screwdriver to dismantle the rifle so you could clean the rifle. And they ordered a bunch of folding knives with screwdrivers in them. They ordered 15,000 of these knives from a German company called Wester and Company. The knives had a blade, a reamer, a screwdriver, and a can opener.
A reamer.
A reamer?
A reamer?
The reamer was, they were Swiss. They was to punch holes in the cheese, actually, I think.
I'm sure that's it.
I can't eat the cheese and the who's in it.
Yeah. So they did well with these, but there's a fellow named Carl Elsener. He's a central figure in today's report. Carl was Swiss, and he made surgical equipment, and he said, why are these army knives made in Germany? We're the Swiss Army. They should be made in Switzerland. Mm-hmm. And he formed a union of master cutlers, like 30 Swiss knife makers, and they tried to get it together so they could compete for the business for these knives. And it was tough to compete with the Germans. And then Elsener had a breakthrough. He came up with a dual spring mechanism that allowed you to put the tools on both sides of the knife handle.
Oh, man.
And,
there you go.
Yeah. He had that reamer, the screwdriver, the can opener.
Did he have the
blade,
toothpick?
But not at first, Tom. He added a smaller blade, and he added a corkscrew. And that became the Schweizer Offiziers and Sportsmesser. And that was the Swiss Army knife. And as soon as he put it out, it became wildly popular with Swiss soldiers and the Swiss civilians. They loved it. It was the Americans were around a lot of Swiss Army guys in around World War II over in Europe. They were around them, and they loved these knives, but they were too lazy to say Schweizer Offizier und Sportsmesser, so they were like. It's Swiss Army knife. Swiss Army knife. It's like, they're like,
I have a question.
Like, no. It's Schweizer Offizier und Sportsmesser. No. You're Swiss. You're in the army, and that's a knife. Swiss Army knife.
Were they always red?
They were not. As a matter of fact, today the Swiss Army knives, the ones in Switzerland, are black. That the Swiss soldiers had.
Oh, that's cool.
Because the one I had was red.
Mm-hmm.
They're all red. Well, you can get them in all different colors. I don't like that. It's like when they started making ketchup that was green.
Yeah, it's wrong.
It should be red. Old Carl got some competition. There's especially a company named Wenger, another Swiss company, and they competed. And there was a big invention in 1921, Tom. You know what was invented? Stainless steel was invented in 1921. And he named his company after his deceased mother, Victoria, and Inox, which is the Swiss word for steel. Victorinox was the name of the new company from Carl. He originally named it Deceased Mother-in-Knox, but it just didn't have a ring to it.
Well, and his mother stabbed with a Swiss Army knife. Did you know that?
No, I don't think so, Chip. I don't think so.
Did you see a picture of her?
No.
Big Knoxers.
Oh, big Knoxers.
Big Knox. That's Swiss for boobs.
Yeah.
Big Knox.
Swiss for boobs.
Oh, nice Knoxers.
That's also when he put the iconic white cross and shield design on.
Sure.
That we see. Yeah, and they competed for a long time, Wenger and Victorinox. Tom, what was the event that caused sales of Swiss Army knives to plummet?
Was it in the 50s?
No, it was in recent times.
Was it
really?
the great accidental testicular stabbings of 1961?
No, Josh, that was a different event, but it was dark times.
Yeah.
My guess would be maybe airplane security.
Yes, 9/11. 9/11. People used to carry pocket knives on airplanes, and they used to sell a ton of Swiss Army knives in those duty-free shops.
Oh, yeah.
And right after that, Victorinox bought Wenger, and that's when they sort of combined.
Wenger, they rock, don't they, Ace? Yeah, man.
Wenger. Not Wenger. We're not talking about Kip Wenger, Josh. It's Wenger.
Kipster,
Yeah.
Kipmo,
Winger.
Kipperino.
No.
Kip. Kippy. Kippy.
Every president since Lyndon B. Johnson has issued their own special guests with Victorinox Swiss Army knives. Did you know that?
Yeah, Johnson, and I'm not kidding, famously carried a pocket knife.
That's right.
Really?
Yeah, as president. Have you ever heard the famous tape of him talking about to his tailor?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not kidding. There's a famous tape of Lyndon Johnson at the White House talking to his tailor and how he needs to have the tailor has made him a pair of pants. You've heard this, haven't you? And he's talking about how he needs to have deeper pockets for his so he can keep his knife in his pocket.
Pocket knife.
And then he talks about he needs a little extra skosh in the groin area, implying that his dangler is massive.
Nice.
I bet he was hung, LBJ.
Oh, yeah. I think so.
Yeah, that's where you get that kind of confidence, I think.
Yeah. So every president gave out those Victorinox. Oh, it says here Bill Clinton gave out Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret.
He's a comedian.
Wasn't Gerald Ford known for being sort of clumsy? I'm not sure he should have been
Slightly,
carrying
yeah. He
knife
fell
around.
a couple times, and then Chevy Chase really ran with it.
Okay. There's been over 800 tools over the years that have been part of the Swiss Army knife. Yeah. I always wonder what those meetings were like. We're like, okay, guys, we're just going to whiteboard it here. We're just going to do nothing, no wrong answers. Just throw out, give us some ideas, brainstorm on what we can put in these knives. Hans, what do you have? Banjo string cleaner. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. That's stupid. We don't want that.
You know, I once had a Polish Army knife. It was a rubber blade. I didn't quite get how it.
Wow, really? Had a pencil for your bowling score. I have to apologize to all those Polish hair.
Not me. Be smarter.
How do you think it started?
Yeah.
Once again, our guest is comedian Greg Warren, discussing the invention of and the proliferation of the Swiss Army knife. Are they making any kind of a comeback these days, Greg?
Yeah, they're doing pretty well, Tom. Now, it's only a percentage of their business, the Army knives. They make all kinds of stuff now, including perfume.
Really?
Jess, you ever use the Swiss Army perfume?
No, I haven't. What does it smell like?
Swiss Army guys, I think.
Swiss Army guys.
I have now that I think about it, I have a
Cutlery, maybe.
Swiss Army alarm clock.
Those are great.
Oh, okay.
It's the size of a lady's compact
Right.
analog clock that closes. They're terrific.
My mom gave me a Wenger Swiss Army watch. It's one of my favorite watches I've ever had. Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome.
I got a Winger bar mirror, man. It's awesome. Yeah. I put it right next to my Striper.
Again, Josh, it's not Kip Winger, it's Wenger.
Oh, by the way, my grandma actually used to wear the Swiss Army perfume.
Really?
Yeah. It's not very strong. It has kind of a neutral odor.
Because the Swiss are neutral. I see. That's
Swiss are neutral. Yeah.
Hey, I'm working. You don't have to like. You don't have to like what I'm doing.
The mics are on.
You don't have to like what I'm doing, but you can't say I'm not putting in the work.
You may want to start editing.
I like it, Josh. Keep swinging, buddy.
I've been in those meetings where they say there are no bad ideas. As Greg said before, you're fired.
All right.
Greg Warren will be live and in person coming up this Friday and Saturday at the Funny Bone in Columbus, Ohio. Go see Greg live. Greg has a couple of really good television things you can watch out there, Where the Field Corn Grows and The Salesman. Highly recommended. Go see him live and enjoy some great live stand-up comedy with Greg. Ladies, he's single.
Oh, he loves it when you do that.
Oh, sorry, he doesn't like that. I won't do it again. I withdraw that comment.
Okay. So
it's not the worst of today.
What was the worst part when we were asking how you were going down on women?
Yeah, no wonder you're alone.
Was that the embarrassing part?
I just don't think it's really the forum for
I would
a discussion.
You might be right.
All right.